Well, Barry, welcome to Offaly.
Thank you, Pat.
We've been asked by HRI to go back through the year and what we feel were the best rides of the year, and so we'll give it a go.
We had a good selection.
I think so, yeah. So we'll start with the Irish Derby, Pádraig Beggy, and I think this is a very good ride. The reason why I think this is a very good ride, Barry, is that Pádraig has jumped out and he's got a couple of lengths here without actually using his horse, and I think it's a ride that was just very underrated because of the fact that he was a big price and sort of criticism on everybody else that they sat off the pace. But this is not an easy thing to do around the Curragh at the highest level, is to jump out and judge your fractions and get it right around there, and to finish off as strongly as he did. And I think this was jockeymanship at its best, to be honest, and judgment of pace.
Yeah, it was a very balanced ride, wasn't it? As you say, he had the fractions right all the way through, and he saved enough for the death.
It's a little bit frustrating for me when someone that gives a horse such a good ride and all the attention then is deflected to others' mistakes maybe. But I think this was a very, very well judged ride. You can see here, look, this is the most important part of the race in my opinion, is when you're climbing that hill at the Curragh, you have to conserve your horse and sit, and he did that. You could see that just when he started to rise to meet the rising ground, he just took a pull and gave his horse a chance. And then if you can get to do that around the Curragh, I find, and then let them roll off the hill down into the straight, it can be very, very hard to get you back, and I think that was very evident in this race. Right, Barry, here's your first ride, and as I said, it's my telly, so I'll start it for you.
No, we've got Mark Walsh and Simply Ned in the big 2 mile chase in Leopardstown at Christmas. Typical Mark, lovely quiet ride, went the shortest way around, saved what he could, gained what he could. Footpad was the hot favourite on the day and was the one we all had to beat. But as I say, Mark, he kept it simple. He kept nicking a bit of ground around the inside. He'd won this race last year on him as well when he sprung a surprise. He looks in trouble here. He's back in the second half, and Footpad is taking closer order and looking like the likely winner. But Mark saved a bit. He was slow to commit and get drawn into a dogfight early. And when we turn into the straight and Footpad falters after the last, Mark is there to pick up the pieces. Yeah,
and riding full of confidence all year, Mark, and typical ride around Leopardstown, isn't it? Just saving ground, which I always found very, the flat track and the jump tracks are contrasting, aren't they? You can be very, very patient around Leopardstown over jumps, I find, and watching racing, and I think this is a typical ride for around Leopardstown, where he took his time, saved ground, and just produced them at the right time.
Exactly, and people don't appreciate the climb in Leopardstown. You're a long way from home. You've a 3 furlong straight, and Mark hasn't gone for a stick. He's hands and heels, and Ruby has gone for touch and Footpad and looks certain to win. But then when Footpad falters, you can see Mark getting stuck into Simply Ned when he goes for 100% and his horse finds. He saved enough to beat the rest, but also if there was a chance that Footpad didn't get home, he was going to pick up the pieces.
Alright, this is my second one, a Space Traveller in the Boomerang at Leopardstown, Billy Lee. We'll have a look at that. Then comes this, I think, is what we spoke about riding Leopardstown. I don't think people appreciate how tricky a track it is to ride, and especially on the flat as well. It's just it's a place where I find you have to be able to save ground, but equally get yourself into position off that turn and be able to get clear running. And I think this Billy rode this, in my opinion, 100% how to ride Leopardstown. Fast pace over 7 furlongs, fast ground. He took his time from an outside draw, switched in, saved ground at the back of the field, travelled extremely well. But I think the winner of the race is when we get just before the turn into the straight, after saving, he took him to the outside and positioned himself to come with a clear run. I think the mistake that a lot of jockeys make around Leopardstown is if you go inside in Leopardstown, you're gambling on the flat track to get a clear run, and he produced his horse here at the perfect time, and you can see him here respond to Billy's urgings up the straight.
And he's loads of room. He's all the straight then.
It's all about momentum, isn't it?
It
in
is.
Leopardstown,
Exactly.
I think. And
It
momentum is a big thing. If you get stopped against that hill that we just spoke about, it's very hard to get going again. And I just thought this was an excellent ride around Leopardstown. But this ride has everything in that. It's intelligence, strength, judgment. In my opinion, it's just a ride of a jockey that was riding at the peak of his powers all year long. Right, Barry, this is your second one. Tudor City, I think it is.
Robert Power
in
the
Goggle. We'll have a look.
Brilliant ride by Robert. They didn't go as quick as you would expect, and you know better than anyone, Galway is probably one of the trickiest tracks in the country to ride.
Oh, no question.
And when they don't go fast, you know, it leads to traffic, and then when is the pace going to pick up, and you have the downhill run into the straight, or before you turn in, like, so it's a desperate tricky place on the best of times. So when they go a fast gallop, it opens up easily for you, as you know, but they didn't go much of a gallop here this year in the Galway hurdle, and Robert is here at the tail of the field. He's 2 horses behind him as he passes the castle, so you have 5 furlongs from home and he's 2 behind him in the Galway hurdle.
Which is very, very difficult to do, is to make up ground after going no pace as well in Galway, isn't it?
And get a clear run. It's a nightmare. So he weaves his way through. We'll see him now into the dip. He's starting to make a bit of ground. The gaps are opening up for him, but he has to navigate. And
what I think is very important about people, like, there's no sense of urgency about him at all. He's obviously getting a lot of confidence.
He can't set his horse alight. He's riding him for one run. Here he is after the second last. He's trying to work his way through again. He's following the favourite. But as they're quickening from the front, Mark Enright has actually given the runner-up a brilliant ride from the front and possibly nearly nicked it. But here's Robert coming now. He's coming with a run, but he's saving a bit as well. And when he goes for everything now, he quickens and he has the pace. And it's very hard to quicken past the horse who is quickening as well.
Exactly,
And he just had the speed to do him, and it was a brilliant ride. But as I say, equally with the runner-up as well. But
good ride from the second, but also I think just excellent from Puppy there throughout the race, to have the confidence to sit while things were starting to really get going in front of him and after no pace in the race. Well, Barry, this is my third one. It's Inish Free in the Beresford. Donncha O'Brien. Will have a watch. Now, the reason why I went for this is I think people sometimes don't appreciate exactly what's actually happening here, in that the judgment of Donncha here, I thought, was very, very important in how to judge the pace. The horse in front is a decent horse that I know of, and of Dermot's, and it's going along at a really good pace, but there's possibly he's going a stride too quick for Chris, and Donncha to just sit back off the pace, to be able to judge. I think it's a judgment of pace here that's really what I'm trying to...
And confidence as well, isn't it?
And confidence.
In himself and his horse.
And 2 things. One, knowing that it's a decent horse in front of him, but you don't want him to get away on you, but equally he didn't want to get sucked into a battle too soon. And I just thought that his judgment here was of a top class rider that he is, and the ride of a champion jockey. And that's what I went for.
It's like you said earlier, they make it look simple.
You can make it look simple, and that's it. That's what Donncha did here. I know his horse travelled well, but he could easily have just went went the safe option and not let the second favourite sit 4 or 5 lengths ahead of him throughout the race. He sat back off
into a scrap early.
Correct.
And the third horse come and beat him.
Exactly. And he just went and challenged at the right time. As you can see, the second horse is a good horse, and he battled back here, but Donncha just had enough, and he's conserved enough and delivered his horse at the right time to just get up and nail the second. And to me, that was the ride of a champion jockey, as you say, full of confidence. Right, Barry, here's your third one. It's Ken Boy in Punchestown.
And Ruby on board. The brilliance of this ride, I think, would go unnoticed by a lot of people, but from the word go, when they lined up, and to go, Definitely Red is taking him on all the time. Now, he's a front runner, Definitely Red, and he's a high class horse as well. So he's annoying Ken Boy and annoying Ruby, and Ken Boy's doing more than he needs to do at every stage, and Ruby is trying to conserve whenever he can the whole way. And Ken Boy he's economical to jump. He's not the most natural in the world, so he's not the easiest ride. But when you have something like that hassling you, he's getting him charging into his fences. He's getting him just doing more than he needs to do. And Ruby's constantly trying to just conserve. And this is you have album photo on their tail. It's a Gold Cup.
Ready to
on
pounce.
the back of the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Like, this is high class stuff. And then you take in the fact that he knows this is his swan song. You're riding a waiting race from the front, and if you watch the whole way up number 4 out, he's Album Photo on his tail, definitely Red line up, Ruby's jumping and sitting, trying to conserve. Now definitely Red is falling away, and Album Photo picks up the baton, and he's taking him on from here. But again, Ruby down to 3 out, he's saving, pops this. Paul Townend comes alongside, then has a look between his legs for dangers. Ruby still sitting, still
and then
saving.
The easiest thing in the world here is when you have a horse like Album Photo arrive up,
getting competitive.
You could just kick for a go, couldn't you? That's
but
the
he
easiest.
doesn't.
He sat again.
Paul has to get after his horse. Ruby still sits the whole way down to the second last. And I mentioned about him being economical to jump. Now he's more than economical here at the last. He gets, I'd say, about a foot off the ground. But then Ruby, go. Now it's time to go. He has saved for that moment.
Yeah.
He's probably about 350 yards from home, and this is it.
And you could see at the back, you could almost read his mind where, you know, his plan was probably the minute he landed off the back of the second last to go.
Wing the last, rides him out hands and heels, couple of tears into him, and he needs the line. Album Photo is staying on again. If he had kicked off the turn in,
one stride sooner than he did, or two,
you'd have had a different result. But the brilliance of that ride would go unnoticed by, I think, a lot of people.
Well, Barry, we've picked the 6 rides.
6 brilliant rides.
I think they are. They are, but I think the flat are probably that little bit stronger.
You would think that, but there's no jumps involved.
But it's no, we think they're 6 brilliant rides, and now it's up to you, the public, to decide. And hopefully our thoughts have been helpful. But I think that, as I said, the flat are definitely that little bit stronger.